Hello and welcome to the Knitting Traditions podcast. My name is Inga and this is my little corner of the internet where I talk about my knitting. Today is a special episode. It's not a regular podcast format. I've been talking about recording a video showing all the knits that I have for Nellie, my girl, who is currently cooking inside. She's due in January 2024, and today I had some time with a snowstorm going on outside, but the snow reflects light, so I figured it was a good time to try and record this little special bonus episode, and then I can have it to upload later when I feel like the channel needs to have a video going up. So I have quite a lot of knits for her. I have not made most of them. The bulk of the knitwear that I have for her are knits that my grandmother made for me when I was a child, and my mother kept them. And I've given them all a wash and tried to hang them up. Usually I don't hang my sweaters, but for a baby sweater there's not enough weight really to distort the garment. So I've tried to hang them all up in kind of what looks like increasing size, because the thing with handmade knits is they don't have tags in them unless the knitter put a tag in them saying the size, and also the size is just a number. It really depends on your baby or the child that you are gifting to, how big they are. 6 months for one child is not the same as 6 months for another. So I've just tried to look at it visually and put them in increasing size, and then she'll wear through them one item size at a time. I also have some crocheted and knitted toys. I made most of them, and one of the ones I have brought to show you today was made by a friend. I also have some blankets. I've made most of those. I think everything that I have here today I have made, but there's one in the car seat and I didn't go out to get it, but that was a gift. And yes, so I know the name of the pattern from what I have made. What my grandmother made, I don't know the pattern name, but based on what kind of magazines I have gotten from her that she used in the 80s and 90s, it's a lot of drops design. There's also some penguin. She had a lot of penguin magazines. And I think she had others as well, like Viking Garn, Dalegarn, some Norwegian producers. So unfortunately, those will be more of a show and tell, and I can't tell too much about the item. But maybe they'll give you some inspiration to go on Ravelry in the advanced search engine and see if you can find something like it. And if something comes up that I think I have seen, I will try and insert a photo on screen of the pattern if I find it on Ravelry. Editing Inga will do that. Okay, so maybe we can just get into it. If baby and child knits are not something you're interested in, then this is just a one-time episode, so don't worry, there'll be normal podcasts coming up as well. The first one I have is a gift from a podcaster friend called Anina. She's Annie UT Knits, both on YouTube and Instagram. And she made this beautiful cardigan for Nellie. And I have this up front because to me this looks like a newborn or 0 to 3 month size. I don't know what pattern she used, but maybe you can find out if you follow her. And the yarn that she used for this is the Karama Lanka Studio in superwash merino 80% and 10% cashmere and 10% nylon. and this is the terracotta colorway, and it's just so beautiful. I have this hanging in her nursery slash our walk-in closet. It's the closest room we have to our bedroom when she will not be sleeping in here with us when she moves out there. So I have this hanging on the wall together with the next item, which is the Tulip Jumper Baby by Melody Hoffman. I made this one. It took a day. I knit this up in Plötulopi, held with a single strand of silk mohair, and I made the smallest size, I think, so this should be ready for her when she is born. It is very cold in Norway, so this is going to be a really nice piece to have outside her like inner layer of wool garments, because it is quite rustic. I think I'm going to make more of these in bigger sizes, but I will not use Plötulopi. I will probably go for the Hillesvåg Unspun or Nutidin. I have both of those in stash and they are a lot softer. It's night and day, really. The baby size that I made has a opening in the back to make it easier to get on and off the head, and I opted for one of those plastic push buttons to close it in the back. Nice and safe. So I have those two hanging on the wall. This one I have paired with a cotton, I think it's cotton, it might be merino dress in a similar color to this. To have underneath this, it'll be like a cute little garment. And this one I have paired with another item that I made, which is a closed foot body garment thingy. And these will be worn together. I thought they would complement each other nicely. This was one of the first things that I made. I'm gonna have to go back and find out the name of this pattern. It was in one of those magazines that I got from my grandmother, so it's more of a vintage pattern before the 2000s. And this took quite a long time to knit. I was knitting on it during the summer. I wonder if I was using 2.5mm needles, if not 3. But yeah, it was a lot of knitting for a small size. And the picot edging I did before finishing the body, or the feet. And I'm glad I did, because if it's something about the finishing, it's I don't enjoy the finishing as much as the knitting. So sometimes I try to do those things before I finish knitting so I don't get tired of it and put it aside. And I put on 2 little wooden buttons very securely sewn on. So this one you can open on the button and put it on. And if she grows, I could always manage to get these buttons through the picot as well. So that will give a few centimeters more. So it can get worn a little bit longer. And I think the yarn that I used for this was, it's similar to the Sunday by Sandnes Garn, but I think it might have been Baby Ull Lanette from Sandnes Garn, because I do have a lot of that in stash from their kind of bag sale at their outlet store. So I have a lot in this color, and I have a lot in this kind of color. So yeah, those things are hanging in the room. That will be her little nursery at some point, but I mean, she'll wear these during her first period of life, but they were just so cute, so I wanted to have them hanging up to see. Next thing is something that my grandmother made. Oh, and I was also, by the way, before this one, this is a hat that my grandmother made. I have no idea what the pattern is, but I do know that drops, for example. And I know this because I've seen through a lot of drops magazines that she's had, so there are lots of other designers out there, of course, as well. But it's a good reference point to search for if you're just looking for inspiration, because they're free patterns. And I feel like I've seen something very similar to this from them. But yeah, I have this hanging on here. So there's a hat for that, but I have no idea what head size this is. So this will just be tried on and then put accordingly if it's way too big. This one also to me looks like a very small size. This is a pattern from Drops because I have been able to see it, so I will insert a photo of it because I don't remember the name. My grandmother made this and she used some beautiful lilac color and white. It feels similar to the babyknits, I think. It has a matching hat. Again, the size looks to be for a smaller size. Very cute. It's going to be very, very precious. And again, I could put this underneath to have like a set. Even though they're not the same weight, they're not that different. Yeah. This one has held up quite nicely, and there's some cute little white strawberry buttons on this one. So this is one of my favorites, probably. I think it's very cute. And it's nice to have something in a smaller size since she will be born in winter in Norway. Another garment that I felt like was in a smaller size range. This is a cotton, maybe cotton wool blend. Feels like a cotton, it's more stiff. Again, something that was knitted by my grandmother, and I have no idea about any more information. But again, preparing for this video, scrolling through Ravelry, I saw a lot of free cardigan patterns for small babies and toddlers that will give you a similar look to this. And for this one, she has used some small, they look like glass, but they are plastic buttons. And yeah, a nice layering jacket. Hopefully the size will fit also in spring when it's not as cold. She also has knit this beautiful set, and this is definitely a cotton yarn. And this has held up really beautifully. So nice that I wonder if it's been worn for more than a couple of times. It's also giving me the impression that it's for a smaller size because there's no food stains on this. And this set comes with a cardigan. It's a Drops pattern. I found it, so I'll insert the photo on here. It comes with a cardigan, and it also comes with a pair of pants or culottes or whatever you would call it. These and the jacket are a set, I think. And it also comes with matching socks, which disappeared somewhere in here. I just had them. Oh yeah, here they are. They come with socks, matching socks that I just tied together, and they are hanging on here because they kept slipping off when I had them tucked onto the arms, which I've done for a lot of the items here. Which reminds me, there are socks for this set as well, which are currently on the floor. These socks, very cute. And there's a hat for this set as well. A cute little bonnet with the colorwork in the front and a ruffle. So again, I'm hoping that this will fit her more into the spring months as well. If not, it'll be one of the indoor garments. So we'll hang this up here. Put one of the socks back onto the sleeves. It works fine when it's just hanging still, but with me moving everything around now, everything is at risk of falling. This is a pattern that I made. This I think I made very early spring, perhaps. Yeah, I think very early spring, before I was pregnant. The yarn was gifted from a viewer, some scraps from her stash, and this beautiful bamboo cotton blend. It feels really nice and soft. And the pattern is from Petite Knit. It's either the Friday sweater or the festival sweater. I always get those two mixed up. And I just used the different scraps for different colored bubbly stripes for this one. And again, it is one of the smaller sizes, maybe 3 months, if I'm not sure if I remember, but it is quite a stretchy fabric, so it will probably fit for a longer time, and the neckline as well is quite stretchy. I don't think it's going to be an issue getting it over her head, we hope. But yeah, I think it's very cute. And another garments from my grandmother, which again looks to be in pristine condition for being 30 something, or almost 30 years old, 30 years old maybe. It's again a cotton wool blend, I think, based on how it feels. And I'm not sure what pattern she used for this. It's a combination of stockinette and pearl bumps, and then there's lace knitting, or it's not even lace knitting. It's again knit stitches and pearl stitches for most of it. Looks to be a few yarn overs to create the patterning. And very bright orange colors with the matching buttons. Very cute. This I do think will fit in the spring. It is quite a boxy fit, and because it is, I think it should be fine. Even if the sleeves become a little short, you could always, or I could always fold them up, and it'll be more like a summer t-shirt cardigan layer thing. And next one, I went to a thrift store and they were selling these dungaree pants with a knitted t-shirt, handmade knitted t-shirt, and I just thought it looked so precious and I had to save it. So that came home with me and it got a nice wash. This is definitely cotton, so I just washed it on a regular cycle. I will machine wash all my woolen knits. I will just use a wool cycle with wool soap intended for wool and silk, and lay everything flat to dry. It'll be perfect. No fuzz for me. I love wool and will use wool for all its great properties, but it's nice to be able to feel for sure what is cotton, because then that can go in with other kind of wash as well. But yeah, if I'm unsure, everything will go in wool wash, so that's also fine. Yeah, so no information, have no idea, but it's nice for secondhand things. I like it. This is a set my grandmother made and it is so cute. Again, I'm getting a little bit 90s drops vibe with the little ducks, but it might as well be a pattern from the penguin or something else. The color work on the bottom is kind of giving me mistletoe vibes. but I don't think this is like a Christmas thing. But it is giving me a little bit those vibes, but the ducks are making it more all season appropriate. And it comes with a very cute hat for the baby with the ear flaps. And the feet are open, so it's good that the child can kind of grow in it without it being constricting in any direction but here, probably in the end. And I have a lot of socks that my grandmother knits, and I'm not sure which goes with which item, but this is the same yarn and colorway, and I thought it looked like they belonged together, so I put them on this one. And for the buttons, she has used some little white plastic hearts. It's very cute and precious, and it feels really lovely, so I'm excited for my little girl to wear this as well. Oopsie. See, the socks are falling off now. All right, so hang this little thing up. And then this, I believe, it might have been a set that one of my brothers have used. I haven't seen photos of me using it, but it is a very traditional Mariusgenser, which is a pattern, a Norwegian knitting pattern that is very well known. It comes in all kinds of sizes. You can probably find it on Ravelry. Some paid, some free, depending on what yarn brand has made their version of it. It comes in round yokes, raglans, set-in sleeves. A lot of touristy shops use this patterning for their items for tourists. It's very well known here. It's called Marius, which is a man's name. And this set has a sweater with buttons over the shoulders to make it easier to pull over the head. There are woolen pants with it as well, in just plain stockinette. And mittens. Marius. No, it's not Marius. It looks like Selby mittens. Little Selby mittens on like a drawstring so it doesn't get lost. A very cute little woolen set, which probably fits around, I want to say, just before 6 months, maybe. We'll find out. And the next item is a pattern from babyknits, which Matthias's mom has made for Nelly. And I do think this is larger than 6 months, or it might be 6 months. And yeah, it's one of babyknits' patterns. Could it be the Monday suit? I'll put it on screen if I can find out. And it feels like the yarn that's been used is the Sunday yarn. And it has buttons going all the way down to the crotch. So you can open it up and put the baby inside and button it back up. And yeah, maybe I'm not very familiar with diaper change yet. I will be soon. But maybe I can open the buttons on the bottom and just put the lower body out of it to change the diapers. We will find out. So yeah, very beautiful and very honored that she made this for Nelly. So she has this beautiful body suit. It's very functional, and based on everything that I have here, I see that what I need more of are these pants, either like full body suits or just lower body pants, because there are a lot of cardigans and sweaters, but not so much for the bottom portion of a body. The next is a cardigan from my grandmother, and this is wool, and and don't know the pattern, but it looks to be a very simple set-in sleeve pattern with eyelets, and then it has a knitted border with picot style. So that is more work than I would be happy to do. And there are some socks that I think goes with it. I currently have one, which means the other one is on the floor. I don't have any other set from my grandmother that would fit this. I do think they belong together. I have a feeling that maybe she used whatever yarn she had left over to make little socks to go with items, even though the pattern might not have had matching socks with it. But yes, very cute. And this I think will fit in spring, maybe early summer, together with this other cardigan that she has made. Again, wool and a combination of lace in the way of doing yarn overs and looks like slip knit. And this one has probably been used after me and my brothers, or I think my mom used a lot of these knits for all of us. So, but yeah, it has a little bit of staining. So I do think this is at some point after the 4-month, 6-month mark. It's gotten a lot of use. I can see there's a little bit of pilling going on. I do not mind having like a little bit of stains on the knits. To me, knits for the child is to be used, so it's not something I'm going to be super precious about. They're going to wear it because it's cold and the garments are beautiful, and I'd rather they be worn and have a few stains than dust away in a drawer. So I really don't mind the little stains at all. And another cute little cardigan, again knitted by my grandmother. This one has a little bit of cables running down, and in the back there is moss stitch. It comes with a matching hat with the ear flaps. Very pretty. This one I do think she probably knit for my brother. I have 2 brothers. They are younger than me, and yeah, and I'm the only one in the family who is expecting a child. My brothers do not have any children, so, but I will take good care of the knits in case they ever want to have some knits for their child. And this one also comes with socks. What is the thing with one sock and one missing? I'm gonna have a game of picking up socks after this episode. The buttons on this, again, some very plain white plastic buttons, which look like they have, there's like a little bit of engraving going around the edges that looks like little maple leaves, but that is very small and hard to see. And then I have 3 sets of pants that my grandmother made. 2 of them are with closed feet and 1 is open. So I don't know what sets they were intended for or size-wise. So I've kept these 3 together on the hanger to just wear with the tops, however it fits. This one has a little drawstring kind of thing going on in the front, just to probably keep it on the body better. And it also has it around the ankles of the feet. And the other one, oops, I'm getting all tangled up in here. This is a more simple one. It has the closed legs as well, and this one has an elastic band going on at the waist. These are both made of wool and looks like they're made of the same yarn as well. One size is bigger than the other, it looks, and it seems like this one has gotten a lot of wear, and at some point it got a hole in them, and my mother has probably mended it with some other white yarn. And the last pair of pants are these one, again with an elastic band at the waist, and these ones have open feet, so they can grow with the child. I could wear it earlier, folding it up, and then once the child grows, just put it back down. And I also have a hat here from my grandmother that, again, I don't know which size it is intended for, or which set or garment that she has knitted to be together with. So I have held it with the pants here to kind of just go with whatever other garment. The most important thing is that she's nice and warm. Not too warm, but like a good warm. So that was those. And then moving on to what I think is going to fit more next fall and winter. I have this beautiful set, again, made by my grandmother. She has used some sort of speckled yarn for this one. Feels like a cotton wool blend. It also has some silk ribbon going through it, which can be tightened at the back, it looks like. And the cardigan also comes with a pair of pants, which also has the cute little silk ribbon, and a matching bonnet or hat. Looks like a matching hat, and it has those silk ribbons as well to go underneath. A very cute set. This one also seems to have held up very nicely, very pristine. Next, I have a sweater made by Matthias's mom and a matching hat. This pattern is called Persbuk, and it is also a known pattern in Norway. Comes in both small sizes and adult sizes. Very traditional with the black and white, and I think it's going to look very cute. I have my Olympics 1994 sweater, which is also in black and white, and Matthias has a machine knit cardigan from Rauma in black and white, which is similar to like the a Selbu pattern. So we could all be wearing traditional Norwegian black and white colorwork garments. And I just think it's so timeless. You might think it's retro, but here I feel like this will never go out of style. And it has a nice white neck to get over the head. It also has the buttons on the shoulders that can be opened up to make it easier to put on and off. And I could pair it with one of the pants underneath. Okay, it's gonna be so cute. I love it. That was a good match. Let's see, gotta hang it up. This hat doesn't have the drawstring, so it's just one of those hats that you just put on the head. It's a little bit harder to make it hang nicely without falling down. Next, this one I made, and I used a Donegal tweed yarn, which were from Lang, if I'm not mistaken. I think I used 2 balls of the yarn to make this. This is a cardigan pattern by Petite Knit. And I will put the name on the screen. And I knit the 1-year-old size, and I decided to go for little wooden buttons. I thought they looked really nice with the brown tweed specks of the yarn. This is 100% wool, and then the Donegal tweed, I don't remember what the little tweed specks are made of, but it's a very nice, soft, in like it's non-scratchy. I found the yarn quite delicate though, that it could break quite easily, so I'm curious to see how this holds up on a toddler, or if it would be better used in a garment for someone who is more careful. We shall see, but it's very cute, and it's a nice lightweight woolen layering piece to have outside other garments. And then this is a cotton cardigan made by my grandmother. Some cute little teddy and hearts color work going on the sleeves and on the body. Again, the cute strawberry white buttons that was also used for this set. But as you can see, the sleeves are longer, so I have classified it as early life, later first year. And this one inside is a hat that does not belong to this one. It looks more like this one, but they are not the same either. But I think I will pair color-wise, yes. Size-wise, I think this is too big. That's probably why I paired these together. We'll see. I think I need to make a better system for the hats and bonnets that don't seem to fit in with the other ones. Also, I'm not sure how this is going to stay on the head because it's quite loose and it doesn't have anything to fasten with. I think there has been an I-cord or something in here in the past, which is no longer there. But I could make an I-cord out of something and pull it through. So I think this will have to go into sort of a mending situation. Next is a cardigan made by Matthias's mom. And this looks to be closer to a 1-year-old size or maybe even bigger. And I know that she has knit this from a magazine. I want to say Klumpe Lumpe, which is a Norwegian magazine pattern book, but I'm not completely sure, so don't hold me to it. But it is a simple cardigan covered in baubles. So very happy that she has made this for Nelly, because I do not enjoy knitting baubles, but I think it is a very fun texture. And there is a matching bonnet for it as well. Very nice and cute with the all over baubles. And based on my coloring and Matthias's coloring, we have pretty much the same hair color, so I think Nelly will probably also have a similar hair color to us, and I think the yellow and ochre will look really well and cute. I have another cardigan from my grandmother, this one in a beautiful pale yellow, and simple texture of knitting and purling. And this looks to be some sort of modified set-in sleeve or raglan situation going on, and little plastic white pearlescent buttons again. And then I have a very cute set that my boyfriend's mom made for Nelly. Quite unisex. I love this color. I think it is very precious, and this set comes with a ribbed hat, which is great. I think this is going to get a lot of use, not just for the set, but but otherwise as well, because it's really nice and soft. I think this is an alpaca blend from the way it feels. And then there's a cardigan with a little belt. So cute. And the pants that go with the set have these kind of straps, which is really nice. And again, I think this would look really well with like a thin fabric long sleeve body underneath. And then when we go outside to put the cardigan on, and she'll be so nice and snuggly and look so cute. And the hat as well. How cute is this? I don't know what pattern this is. Again, I know that my boyfriend's mom, she has a lot of magazines with knit patterns for children and toddlers that she knits from, but there's a lot of similar cute designs that you can find on Ravelry if you go on there. Using the advanced search engine, you can like specify which size, like if it's for a baby or toddler, that you want it to be knitting technique, you want cables, you know, you want cardigan and pants, those kind of things, and it'll filter down the search for you. And then I have a sweater that I made. This is the Camellia sweater, or Camellia pullover by Zoomin, I think. I believe she's Korean, and I think I knit, my memory, I think I knit the 2-year-old size. It might have been that I knit the 1-year-old size, but I did make both the body and the sleeves longer because I felt like it was quite wide, and I thought that it would fit for a long time if I just elongated it, and then everything can just be folded upwards, so she can use it for 2 seasons, hopefully. I used Rauma Finul for this pattern of similar colors to the original, but different yarn. This I did extra, and this one I did extra, and I also made the ribbon longer and easy to fold up to make it fit for a longer time. And I want to make matching ones for either Matthias that I can also wear, or 2 extras, but I think I will start with 1 and see, because if he doesn't wear it, then it's a shame to make 2. I can just make him 1 and then I'll take it, and it'll be oversized. Last 2 garments that I have are 2 very traditional looking cabled sweaters, which I think is probably a 2-year-old size, or it could be worn earlier if I just roll up the sleeves. My grandmother made both of these. They have both used what looks to be a Sport to DK weight yarn, and I'm not sure which pattern she used for this one, but I am guessing probably a drops pattern, because this one is definitely a drops pattern. I was able to find this on Ravelry, so I'll put a photo here so you can see. And I don't know, I think it's something so nice about cabled cardigans for small children and toddlers, for anyone really. Like pairing these with some denim shorts, denim pants, denim dress, denim something would look really, really nice. I could of course wear it with the white pants as well, but I think the contrast would look really nice if it were together with something denim. And yeah, I think there are some stains on some of these, but again, they are meant to be worn. So very, very nice and lovely. And I think I will probably want to make more sizes of like cabled garments like this for a child. They look to be 2 different sizes, one is longer than the other one, so I'll hang them in that order. So those were all of the garment knits that I have for what I think is probably the first year of life. I also have some from my grandmother for later on. This is giving very 90s vibes. Maybe a 3-year-old for this one, or a 4-year-old, depending on the child. This is just stripes, and then there's a few little lice in the color work, and it's made of a cotton yarn, so it's more of a summer garment. Another cotton yarn pattern or garment that she has knit up is this sweater, again with lice stitching and the double knit picot edging. That seems to be for a lot of patterns back in the 90s. And those two are cotton. I think there's one more cotton. This one is a textured cardigan, and these are not color work. They are duplicate stitched on afterwards. If you look closely, you can see the pink peeking through the stitches. So those were duplicate stitched on afterwards. In the back you can see how the cardigan looked plain. So just knitting with using purl stitches to create the little shapes. And for this one there are some textile buttons. Very cute. So again, not sure what sizes, but these I have put away in a drawer because they are not going to be used for probably the 2 first years of life, unless she grows very rapidly. There is a woolen sweater, and I feel like I have seen this from Drops. It has color work, it has lace, just simple lace, yarn overs and knitting 2 togethers, and it also has embroidery. How cute is that? I know a lot of designers have brought embroidery onto knits back, and it looks really nice. So I don't know if I have the patience for it, but it is very beautiful. And I think the combination of stockinette color work, lace work, and embroidery makes this a very intricate design, and nice and warm as well with the wool. So I think this is gonna get used when she's probably 2 or 3 in the winter time. There's a set that I believe she probably made for one of my brothers with wool pants with color work. Very pretty. And a cardigan to go with it with what looks like little cherries and some leaf structured color work on the ribbing as well. And it has a matching hat. It might have 2 matching hats. It has definitely this one, because this is the same motif, right? But she has also made this hat, which I think is for something else that is not here. But it's very much the same colors, so I think it can be worn together as well. And I don't believe in color assigning to gender, so Nelly, she'll be wearing all the good wools, no matter the color of the item. And it feels really nice and soft. It's a good wool, I think, whatever she has used. And yes, another one that probably was knit for my brothers at some point is this all over color work sweater. Very 90s vibes here. There's stars and trees and boats and houses. There's a lot going on. Very pretty. And this is probably maybe 2 or 3 year old size, but it's very cute. I really like it, and it's held up really well. There's of course like a little bit of pilling going on. I have washed everything, but I haven't used the deep pillar, which I can probably do before Nellie starts to wear it. And there's also some more festive knits for later on. There's this red cardigan, a simple cardigan in its own way. It has the double picot edgings, and it has some very traditional looking steel button fastenings that is fun for a child to play with. This is something that would be worn outside as like a layering piece, and then these just help it from falling off the shoulders if outside. And I think it's going to be very nice for a winter season when she's a little bit bigger. And there's also a Christmas dress, which I remember very fondly. I have pictures in this dress as a child. It has white and red, a little bit of staining going on, probably from a Christmas dinner. And then the body of the dress has little cute lice patterning going on. And then more intricate color work on the bottom hem and the bottom hem of the sleeves. This is probably, I don't know, 2-year-old? Maybe 3-year-old size. It's wool. I don't know much more about it. Sorry. And then this one, I remember I had worn for the 17th of May, which is the national holiday of Norway. So this is a colorwork skirt in a thicker wool, together with a colorwork cardigan in very traditional patterning with Selbu roses, some other motifs that have been used in a lot of designs in Norwegian knitting. And yeah, it's just a really nice set. It could be worn for Christmas as well. It all depends on how big she is and when she will fit this. This is definitely not a summer garment because it is quite thick. This is definitely like DK and quite heavy, but it's so beautiful. And it's held up really nicely because I think this is not something that has been worn every day. It's been more for dressing up purposes. And the skirt has an elastic band at the waist, and it's just very cute. It's going to be very warm as well. So there's that. So those were all of like the bigger garments that I have inherited down. And I also have a lot of just simple ribbed socks for different sizes that I didn't bring out because they are somewhere in the cabinet. And there's also 2 bigger hats that my grandmother has made. I don't know which age this will fit because it's almost big enough for me. I mean, I could wear this. I have a tiny head. So this is probably, I don't know, probably 6 years or older. My ears are not covered though, so. Well, that's funny. I'm a child. And this one as well, I think, is for a bigger child. But not my size. So yeah, I have those as well that are waiting for the child to grow up a little bit more. And I made this one. This is the Chilly Day balaclava. I used some air. It was not drops air, but a yarn that I found in Turkey from Gazal, which has pretty much the same specs as drops air, and it feels and looks the same. And one ball is enough. And this is the 1-year-old size. And yeah, I put it away because I figured what is a year ahead don't need to be, I messed up my hair, don't need to be out and about. So this is waiting for next fall winter. I made this one. This is one of the first things that I made for Nelly when I found out I was expecting. This is a pattern from one of the magazines from my grandmother, the Penguin number 54. And the pattern in this book is called in French, this. And in this magazine that my grandmother had, the patterns are listed in Swedish. And it says baby plug för nybörjare, which is like a baby's clothing item for beginner knitters. It wasn't very hard. I mean, it's just knitting back and forth, but with the seaming and the putting in of a zipper and then a button on top as well to protect the neck from the zipper, I would not say beginner, but that's because I find seamless garments to be more beginner friendly personally. This I knit with Sunday held double or triple. It is quite a heavy garment, but this is supposed to be something that the baby sleeps in their crib, or I'm not going to use it in the car because I don't have a possibility to like strap the belt buckles through this, which you can with some patterns. So this is going to be for sleeping in the stroller or the crib or something. And it has like a nice weight, which can be soothing for a baby, I've heard. So I think it's going to be really good. And it's 100% wool, non-scratchy at all. So that is something that I knit. And it actually took quite a lot of time because I think this item for a baby is just as much knitting as a sweater for me would be. There's a lot of knitting gone into this. That was all of the knitted garments, but I do have some knitted toys and blankets. This one is probably my favorite blanket that I knit for her. It's more of a decorative piece, really. It's all over lace. This is the Mini Augustine's number 1, I believe. I used some yarn from Gull, which is a Danish plant dyer. And I used a little more than two skeins of it. I held it single on the recommended needle. And it is just a beautiful color. It's undyed. New Zealand lamb's wool, I believe. And it looks like it's something very intricate and difficult, but it's really just simple textured stitches. So if you know how to do yarn overs and knitting 2 togethers and knit some pearls and those kind of things, then and knitting through the back loop, you could make this. And it's really not as daunting as it looks, but it gives a very detailed look once it's finished, and you can feel really proud of yourself for making it. So this one is something that lies on top of her duvet or will lie on top of her duvet in one of the cots that I have for daytime naps. And it looks really nice. And I want to make more in the future, probably. I also have the number 5, which is using a thicker yarn. So that will probably knit up even faster. This didn't take long at all. All of the yarn overs creates a bigger garment without it being actually that many stitches knit. So Other blankets that I have for her, I finished a very long time whip this year in a single strand of Manos del Uruguay Marina, I believe was the base. It's a superwash merino, and I had 2 balls of this red, which I think is the Vesuvio base. And I knit a giant square, really, or it's not a complete square. I blocked it quite severely to make it a bit bigger than it is. It's a very lightweight garter blanket. It's not something that's super warm, but it can give like a little bit of comfort, and it's going to be great for the summer, I think. And I am keeping this in one of the little baby nests for her. And this was, it's a good kind of travel project because it's small needles and you don't need to bring a lot of yarn. It doesn't take a lot of space, but it takes forever to knit. But I did get bored of it in the end, so I'm happy that it is done. And this, I believe, is the tulip blanket. It was a free pattern that uses like this is called a chevron chevron pattern. And I had a kind of magic cake of cotton yarn that transitioned from a very light peach to like a tangerine orange. So it's just 1 ball of yarn. I started here and I knit until I ran out of yarn, and I have not woven in the ends yet. So I need to do that. I need to weave in the ends of this, and then this is going to be for the summer, for warm days. And if we get to travel in the summer to somewhere warm, then this is going to be a very nice, cool blanket to have for the baby. So glad to have one of those as well. I knit one for my friend who had a boy a little over a year ago in more of like turquoise blue, and they've gotten a lot of wear out of it, so hopefully I will too for Nelly, and I do really like the color. And this one has been shown in my podcast recently. Currently me and Matthias are using it because it is a nice lap-sized blanket, but this is one of my long-term whips of making garter squares on 3.75 millimeter needles. I cast on 30 stitches in Raumafinul, and I just knit back and forth until I have 30 garter bumps, or 29 on one side and 30 on the other, and then I bind off. And I've just made tons of squares in different colors that I like, very earthy tones, a mix of lighter and darker. And then I use this color to single crochet around the square and then join in one direction going all the way down, and then turn afterwards and join in the other direction. So currently I think it's 5 by 7, and I blocked it out quite severely, so it is a really nice, decent lap-size blanket for us now. For Nelly, I will probably fold it in half, and it'll be a very nice warm wool garter blanket to have either in the car or in the strolley when we're outside. In Norway, babies sleep outside as long as it's not below -10, and they will be covered in layers of wool, and the cot or the stroller is usually also covered in some sort of sheep wool or very thick fabrics. They are nice and cozy down there, and the cool air is really good for the lungs. But I don't want her to be cold, so I want to make sure I have some really nice, good woolly wools for her. And yeah, I'm really happy with this one, and I have more squares, so at some point I could either build onto this to make like a big blanket, or I can just keep making more squares and then I can have a smaller one and a larger one. I also have designated one of my half and half triangle shawls by Pearl Soho, which is a free pattern, using their linen quilt base, turmeric, and oatmeal, I feel like is what I used. I have made 3 of these shawls. I have one that has this color together with their juniper green, maybe? One of their greens. I use that one a lot. And then I made another one with a tweedy light color and black from Woolly Knit. They're British wool, and I use that one a lot as well. That one is more rustic. It's warmer. And then the third one is this one. And I have not used this as much as the other 2. So this one I figured would be a really nice blanket for Nellie to have in her crib, or to cozy up on the couch when she's a bit bigger, have in the strolley. It's just something really nice about garter blankets that makes them feel really cozy, and you're not so afraid of them being dragged around as you would maybe be if you made something like this. So this one is for her as well. And it's very difficult to show, but it is just 2 giant triangles. You knit one color first, and then use German short rows, or another kind of technique of turning your work. And then you knit across all of those with the second color, and then you knit the other triangle, and it's all just knitting back and forth using the German short row technique to create this. And I'm just covered in wool here. So yeah, that is another blanket for her. And then I have one blanket from my grandmother that she made for me as a child. And this one is the kind of blanket that would cover the strolley and just look very nice and cute. It is all over lace with some little rose silk roses and a silk band going through, and it just covers like the strolley if the baby is sleeping in there. And then on the other side she has lined it with the beautiful silk fabric, so it is very precious. And I feel like this is a lot more work gone into something than probably what I would make myself. I feel like she put a lot of thought and love into the things that she made for us as children, and it is quite detailed, and I'm very, very lucky to have it. So this one will be on her strolley when we have her at home or take her home. But this isn't for warmth. This is more, it looks nice kind of thing. And the last things that I have are toys. And I had a little, my friend had her 2-year-old over when we were making Christmas cookies, and she ran around the house and collected all of these toys, and she were just carrying them around, and had a hard time leaving them behind. If it wasn't for Nellie, I would probably have given one of them to her, but they have a plan now. I made Simon the sheep. This is a crochet toy from Tufts, which is English. They're UK based, I think. I used some Norwegian wool for this. It's quite rustic, very sheepy. So I have made this one in the past. I have 2 more Tuft animals. This is the Cocker Spaniel. I don't remember the name of the Cocker Spaniel, but this was a kit. So this one has used the alpaca yarn from the Tuft farm. which is the intended yarn for the patterns. And then this elephant, I feel like she is named Elizabeth, but I'm not completely sure. For her, I used, I think this might have been the yarn leftovers from Yarnadelic. I received a skein from them and I made a hot water bottle cover, and then I think whatever I had left over went into crocheting this cute little elephant. So I have 3 toffed animals for Nellie, and I would like to make more toys for her one day, but the knitting list is long. My friend who lives in London, she knitted up this very cute bear for Nellie with these overalls, very precious. And the only knit kind of teddy that I have for her for now. So this one is very special. I did crochet a beer kind of bear. This is like the thing that children can chew on, or they can just hold it, and I put a little rattle thingy inside the head. And I also knit up a snuggle bunny thingy with some yarn that I got in Turkey. It's like some faux fur yarn. It is very soft, and I put whatever I had left of the yarn inside the head as stuffing, so it is very soft. It's something that almost I could snuggle with, but it's for her. So yeah, I just knit a square and then I did the head afterwards and sewed it on with the little ears, so it's a bunny. And that is all of the handmade items, except for a few socks, as well as I did make the Chili Day balaclava. I did make more than one of these. This is the 1-year-old size, but I did make 2 more that will fit her earlier in life. One in the same yarn and one in this yarn. And then there's one garter blanket in her car seat in the car, which we have prepared already. That was knit by a friend. And I think that is all. I know that Matthias's mom has made something more for Nellie, so she is very blessed to have her as a knitter in her life as well. And my mom is also making another sleep suit for Nellie in very similar colors to this, and she's also using Rama Fino, so those will look very cute together. And I think that's it. My grandmother no longer knits that much. She knits a few socks, but not children's garments, so I'm very, very honored and happy to have all of these knits that she made for me and my brothers as a child, and that my mom kept it all and took care of it for us. So exciting. And I'm not sure when this video will upload, but it's nice to have a little bonus episode that I can spend some time now editing and have ready. And I hope that you are making beautiful things, and maybe this gave you some inspiration for something that you want to do some research on if you can find something similar. Ravelry really does have a lot of beautiful patterns, and a lot of libraries stock more like vintage knitting books and pamphlets, so maybe that's something you could check out to see if you can find some patterns to knit up. Yeah, I think that is a good thing. Either Ravelry or local library stores, you can find a lot of patterns, both paid for on Ravelry, but also there's tons of free patterns to check out, not only from drops. That was just something that I've talked a lot about because I know my grandmother has knit a lot from them, so I think a lot of these patterns can be probably found in their pattern library. They have like 12,000 patterns out there. So me personally, I have a lot of patterns from Knitting for Olive and Petite Knit in my library that I will probably knit from. I have all these beautiful, more like intricate knits now for the first year of life, so probably what I will focus on is something more simple like pants, and then knitting for sizes after 1 year old, if I'm gonna make some baby knits. And yeah, who knows, maybe another blanket, just because I find it comforting to have like a mindless knit going on as well. So, and more toys if I find the motivation. Yeah, okay. On that note, I will put everything back again. I hope you're well. I hope you're making all the things that make you happy, and I will see you soon. Bye.